Cheers, queers. Welcome back to Big Gay Energy. What's on the Big Gay agenda today, Kaitlynn?
Oh, we are once again talking about Heartstopper.
Yes, we're wrapping up season 1 by finishing off episodes 6 through 8.
Yes.
So let's get into it. Episode 6 is Girls, Girls,
oh my god.
Girls, 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 Girls. It's such a good episode.
Is that a song?
Yeah, it's a Haley Kiyoko song.
Okay, that's is that the song? Is that song? Or is that a different song?
No, it's a different song.
Okay.
No, different song. But I mean, it's Haley Kiyoko, so it's all girls, and you said her name, so I have to hydrate for her. So.
Okay. Haley Kiyoko, I would
For
like to
lesbian
talk
Jesus.
to you.
Yep. All right, so, but before we jump into the girls themselves, this episode opens in the best way possible with Nick trying to watch a movie with his mom. And they end up watching Pirates of the Caribbean. And his mom's like, you used to make me watch this movie all the time. So much that I had it memorized. And then Nick realizes why when he's sitting on the couch with his mom. And he's like, oh shit. It's because I have crushes on both Keira Knightley and Orlando
Is that what
Bloom.
it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you know how, like, kids, like, get obsessed with stuff? And his mom's
Yeah.
like, you were obsessed with this movie. And then he's, like, looking at the both of them. He's like, oh shit, they're both attractive. And he's like, fuck. So that's why. Nick's bisexual ass was like,
Hindsight.
everybody's hot in this movie. Let's
All the
watch
things
it.
that I was obsessed with growing up,
Right?
I'm like, oh.
That's why I watched Stick It 5 million times. This all makes sense now.
Mine was obsessed with Selena Gomez. So much that, like, I treasured a movie she was in, and I kept the box it was in, and I would always put it back in the Amazon box.
Cute. I love it. But Nick's crush on Keira Knightley, that shit's real. I can't relate to Orlando Bloom, but he's a pretty looking man, so go Nick. But that was a funny fucking moment that I feel like is super relatable for people. Because it's like the thing that's trending on TikTok, the switch. People are like, switch sides. Every time, like a hot guy comes on screen, a hot girl comes on screen, like the bisexual things keep doing that. I feel like that was Nick in that moment. He's like, switch sides. It's like Keira, Orlando. I love it. If somebody hasn't made that TikTok, maybe they should. Maybe we should. Ideas. Anyway, maybe coming soon. We'll see if we remember. Okay, so the girls. So in this episode, Nick actually bonds with the girls a lot. And in this episode, Tara... So in the last episode, like, Tara explained to Nick, she's like, yeah, we kind of want to be more, like, out in public. So they, like, kissed at the party under the guise of darkness and people not paying attention to them. But in this episode, Tara just, like, puts them on Instagram, like a picture of the two of them.
I think it was a little, like, halfway through the episode.
That was their plot line, though, in this episode, though.
Yeah.
And so they're more out, but, like, their conflict is that, like, things changed and people are looking at them differently.
Darcy does not care.
Darcy doesn't care. And Darcy's out, so she also doesn't care.
Yeah.
And has been through this before and is like, whatever. And this is new for Tara, who's like, wow, people are really treating me differently. Because she got a bunch of... She's, like, scrolling through the comments at one point, and people are like, yay, congrats! And then other people are like, you don't look like a lesbian. That's weird. And so she's, like, getting, like... And she's getting both positive and, like, negative / confused feedback. And they talk about it with Nick later. I forget why they're there. I forget why they were at the school together. But he, like, explains to them that he's dating Charlie. And, like, this is the first group of people he ever tells, which is really cute. So, like, all the gays are, like, supporting each other in this show, which is one thing I really love about this show.
Yeah.
It's super cute. And he tells them, and then they kind of explain that they're, I guess, Tara's out more now. And she kind of, like, can relate to him in the sense that she's like, well, now people are, like, treating me differently and looking at me differently, and it's hard. She's like, I understand that. And it's really sad because in the background, like, Darcy's watching her, and she looks really worried, and it's really sad. Because, like, she's like, oh, crap, oh, no. Does she regret this? Does she not want to be with me? Is she gonna, like, dump me? Like, you can, like, feel her, like, gay panic that she's having in the background about all of this, but, like, I think that's kind of what Nick's afraid of a little bit, too, because they both have, like, they seem to have similar friend circles, whereas, like, you know, the fact that they knew each other when they were 13, I would assume they were both, like, popular-ish kids. And so have similar, like, expectations that other people just put on them. And so now that they're like, no, I'm not conforming to this, Tara's getting, like, other types of feedback that she says it, too, I wasn't, like, prepared for this, you know? It's really sad.
Yeah, I was really worried that was gonna like, Nick wasn't going to come out at all this season because
Yeah.
of what she went through.
Yeah, exactly. But
so people suck.
People suck. But it's really nice to, like, now he has, like, another group of friends that he can talk to this about that isn't Charlie. Because, like, it can be awkward to, like, express your fear to the person that you're dating, which is why poor Darcy's in this position where she's hearing Tara express her fears and she's like, fuck. Like, she's just panicking. But, like, Tara and Nick can, like, be like, hey, like, this is scary. And it is. And it's okay to feel that and express that to other people. Like, you shouldn't be, like, scared to, like, confide in your friends about it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's really cute and important thing that they kind of go through. But fun stuff that happens with them as they bond, and Darcy's like, well, if you and Charlie are dating, we should go on a double date. Which then turns into a triple date because they create this, like, meddling gays group chat between the four of them, which is the fucking cutest thing ever. And Darcy's like, well, Elle, earlier in the episode, told us that she's into Tao, so we should get them together because those two are moving at the speed of glaciers. So let's get them together. So they concoct this triple date to go to this really cool milkshake stand.
Yeah.
Wherever the hell that is. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And they're meeting there before that's why they're band. The band is happening. The worst, we'll get into the band. But, like, they have to meet before the big band rehearsal or recital or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the milkshakes is before the concert.
The concert, thank you. Yeah. The milkshakes is before the concert. Like, 15 minutes before the concert. Like, they didn't time this very well, this date.
They got a second milkshake and then realized the concert starts.
They should start
in 15 minutes. You know how much happens in those 15 minutes?
Oh, I know.
I need to recap this real quick.
Oh, yes, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So,
do it.
They get the milkshakes.
Yes. Milkshake number 1.
One of them said, I think it might be Tao. Like, the concert starts in 15 minutes. They're like, oh shit, we better go. All the four gay...
Yeah, the gays. The four
gays.
Well,
Nick's not in it, though. But he's just, like, very concerned for them, for the people in it.
Yeah, it's Charlie, Tara, and Darcy are all in the band.
Yes. So they're on their way there. Meanwhile, Tao and Elle are just, like, moseying along.
Because they're in the audience.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care.
But then they get there. There's no audience members. The band is not set up. The teacher is only yelling at Darcy
and Tara!
Even though there's still other people entering the room.
The band seats are empty.
Yes.
She's only yelling at them.
And then...
I love it. Meanwhile...
Tara runs out of the room. Then Darcy runs out of the room to get Tara. They get locked in a room. And then... room. Yes. And then they have a whole conversation. And then the other queers come running after trying to find them. And then they find them, and they come back, and then Darcy and Tara get yelled at again. And then Nick helps one of them, Tara, get
her clarinet together.
Yeah. Okay, again, they were not even in the building 15 minutes before the concert started.
I know. I feel like the teacher lied to them about when the concert actually started. Because... I love that she's yelling at the girls to get ready because Charlie had to set up a whole ass drum set. And she was yelling at them. Like, what? It's just, obviously, and we heard them practice multiple times during this episode because the girls were on campus so they could practice for this thing. Their band is terrible. That's all I gotta say. And we didn't listen to a lick of them actually performing. It's probably for the best. They sound like they were a hot mess, and I don't want to even hear them.
That's why they didn't care.
Nobody cared. So they're like, 15 minutes, I can down this entire milkshake and be there in time. No problem.
Do England schools not tend to have theaters or something? Or it might just be the school, but I'm really surprised that they did it in the gym. I don't know if I was just very lucky to have a theater in my school, because that could be it. It
seems like a really nice school, so I don't see why there wouldn't... At least one of those campuses between the boys and girls have a full-on theater for them to perform in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point. I don't know.
And they tend to always go to the boys' school. So you know what? Does that mean the girls get sucky stuff?
I know, right? The girls
come on.
I don't know, because we've been in their classrooms at the girls' school, and the girls' school looks cool. I don't know. That's a valid question. I don't know. Maybe because they're the worst band ever, and they're like, you don't deserve the theater. You gotta earn the theater. And the conductor's always like, well, yeah, we will. And then, like, can never get them to perform, right? And they're like, fuck it, whatever. I feel like it was for a pep rally, though, or something. So maybe that's why they're in there. I don't fucking know. That is weird.
No, it was just a concert.
It was just a concert. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're getting this confused with
I feel
another
like,
show.
No, because I feel like they were... Only because, like, they took time out of school to prepare, like, the girls and the guys. That's why they were, like, together at lunch. It just seems really weird to take away school time to have them practice. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
you see how much work they needed?
They're not ready for this concert, is all we're saying.
See, they just needed bodies. They were like, we need a music program to get funding for something.
There's some donor in that audience who's like, I'm taking my checks back. This is not worth it. This is why you're never getting theater. Anyway, so the triple milkshake date, basically, like, the gays knew they were on a date. The straights didn't. During the date, Charlie tells Elle, this is important, Elle kind of figures out that they're dating because Nick says something. He's like, oh, it's a triple date. And then Elle's like, wait a minute, so you guys are dating. So she figures it out, and then she's like, when the hell are you going to tell Tao? Because Tao was away getting milkshakes when this happens. And Charlie straight up freezes because he's super afraid. Because, like, Nick has been a sore subject with Tao since the beginning. And so, like, Charlie really doesn't know how to tell him. And so he doesn't. And so Tao is like...
Stupid mistake.
Well, yeah, it is a stupid mistake, but, like, again, Tao, like, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy from Tao. He was afraid of being alone and, like, left out of his friend group, and, like, because he was so hostile towards Nick, Charlie ended up leaving him out because Isaac already figured it out, and then Elle now knows, so, like, Tao is literally the only friend that doesn't know. Mm-hmm. Which is really sad for Tao, but, like, he was being so... I can't really blame Charlie. He doesn't know how to tell him. And then the meddling gays are trying to push Tao and Elle together, and it doesn't work, and Elle gets mad because...
Oh, she's pissed.
She's pissed because she's like, listen, I told you this, and not so that you can meddle, but because I needed somebody to talk to who would understand, and she's afraid of what kind of Tao's afraid of, which is, like, their friendship dynamics all changing, so Elle's really understands that Tao's afraid of this and doesn't want to, like, be honest about the way she feels, because she's like, that'll freak him out, because he's already worried about Charlie leaving and changing, and this would definitely change the friend dynamics. So it's a shitty position for her to be in too, you know. She gets the pining after my best friend storyline, and she does it well. And Tao's the oblivious idiot in love and doesn't realize he's the idiot in love.
He's very, very, very oblivious.
He's very dense. He's always like, what do you mean? What are you gonna tell me? What?
I do relate to that.
You need to tell Kaitlynn stuff straight up.
Yeah.
She's not gonna read into anything. Mm-mm. No.
I don't do well subtext.
No. You know who's probably great at subtext? Isaac.
Yeah.
He's the king of subtext. He's great. So yeah, he figured out he's also that there. So anyway, that all happens, and then what else happens in this? Oh yeah, Tara and Darcy get locked in the makeout room. And they have this was their makeout room originally, and they get locked in there, and this scene is really heartbreaking and sad, but also, like, all the couples in this show have amazing communication skills. Even when Tao is being dumb, Tao and Elle still have really good communication skills. But these guys do it well too, because Tara keeps expressing, like, how it's hard for her that now that they're out, well, she's out, that, like, people are treating her differently, and like, they actually talk to each other. And she's honest about this and says, the first thing that Darcy says to her, which is so sad, is she's like, do you regret it? Is what she asks her. Because she keeps watching this in the background. It's like, fuck. Like, she's like, you're having secondhand, she feels like that. She's like, crap, you regret this. And, like, this is my fault. Kind of like what Charlie felt with Nick. He's like, I'm sorry, this is my fault that this is happening to you because you like me. And basically, Tara says no, but she just wasn't prepared for things to change, is what she said. And she tells Darcy, she's like, you, on the other hand, are so confident about your sexuality. She's like, and I feel like I don't know anything. So it's like the girl version of what's going on with Nick, but with a super confident partner. Because Darcy's like, anytime anybody throws the lesbian stuff at Darcy, she's like, I'm gonna throw cheese at them. Like, she doesn't give a single fuck, and I
love her so much.
She's like, I always have extra homophobia cheese for throwing. That's one of my favorite moments from her. But, yeah, so, she, you know, and she's basically like, I don't know what I'm doing either. I'm just being me, like, you know. And so they have a very cute moment together where it's kind of like, okay, you don't regret this, but it's hard for everybody. Not everybody processes this stuff, like, the, you know, the internal stuff and the external stuff the same way. And I really like the way this show depicts, I've said this multiple times, but it depicts it from multiple angles, and not everybody's journey is the same. And so I really appreciate the fact that Allison wrote all these characters very differently, and they go through different journeys and have different support systems that help or hinder them on their journeys. And so I really like this perspective, because it's very true. Like, some shows make it seem like it's very easy. Some shows make it seem like it's impossible. This show finds middle of the road. Mm-hmm. So, like, it is different. Like, things do change. Like, you know, like, from other people's, you know, the way other people view you. So at first that transition can be bumpy. But, like, you know, I think over time, like, Tara kind of, like, gets comfortable in her own skin. It's hard when you're young and you don't even know who the fuck you are, and then deal with something like this too that shifts, you know, other people's perception of you. It's really, really challenging, you know. And so I like that they got to, like, actually talk that through and not have this be this weird wedge between them. So I really enjoyed that. And I wanted to bring up my last point. I wanted to bring up about this episode. I think a big theme in this episode is the fact that visibility is a double-edged sword. So, and I'm going to compare Nick and Tara in this topic, because Tara, you know, kind of struggles with coming out, and in the fact that she's being seen now by others as a lesbian, and experiences that happy, confused kind of reactions from people. So she's the one out and, like, is visible to others. Whereas Nick is experiencing something peripherally while he's figuring stuff out, where he sees how Charlie has been affected, kind of, like, by being visible. You know, Nick knows that he was bullied by, like, his friend group, basically, because they had that one scene where Charlie had the Instagram photo. He's like, I hate this place. And it was, like, the locker room hallway. And Nick had this vision. He's like, oh, yeah, all the jocks, locker room talk, they make fun of him. You know, so he saw bad stuff through Charlie, and then he's also seeing good stuff because he sees Tara and Darcy's relationship and, like, how happy they are together. So he's experiencing both sides of the coin. But the other thing is that, like, visibility and why representation matters so much is because the thing that really helps Nick along in his journey is when he finds that bisexual male YouTuber who talks about his personal experience. And Nick is just like, finally, somebody who is saying what I'm feeling. Yeah. And that's the thing that really helps him be like, I think this is me. Because this person that I can relate to is saying the things that I'm feeling. And now I understand that this is an option for me. Whereas before, I'm just seeing lesbians, gay guys, straight people. And then here's this other person. And he's like, that's me. There it is. Like, now I understand more about me because I saw somebody. And that's why representation is so important. And I like the fact that this show has multiple lenses. Straight people, queer people, a trans person. Like, we get the ace stuff with Isaac. Like, it's so important to see different lenses. Because, you know, not everything is, you know, so black and white or this and that. And so I like that they're depicting that with Nick. Like, the representation of visibility matters. Both good, bad, and everything in between.
It says a lot, yeah. I like it. Sorry, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So let's hydrate for representation, because
I would appreciate it.
It matters, and, like, go that YouTuber. Alright. Anything else you want to say about the girls before we move into our least favorite episode? It's important, but least favorite. Yeah. The tone is very monochromatic.
I would just like to say that my first note for this whole episode was, I love Darcy.
I fucking love Darcy. I was so worried for her. Because like, the way Tara kept talking, and I was like, oh, poor Darcy gonna get her little heart broken.
I can't just let the lesbians be happy in the show. It's not about their journey.
Yeah, it's not about them. Just let it be happy. Okay.
I just want lesbians to be happy.
For once. We're never happy. Speaking of not being happy, we get to episode 7, called Bully, which I called the Struggle Bus episode. No. So this is like the rock bottom before we get to the good stuff in the finale. So here's a quick summary of what happens here. So Nick and Charlie go to the movies with the rugby lads because Nick's like, hey, I hung out with your friends. Come hang out with mine. And it does not go well because it brings up all of Charlie's insecurities and because they're still not out. And so Charlie has to play the role of friend that Nick brought. And so, of course, like, Harry makes fun of Charlie. Mm-hmm. And Ben is there. And that's never good.
Freaking Ben.
I know. I know. But the good thing that comes out of this, which, okay, before we get there, Charlie ends up leaving after, like, Harry kind of starts, like, he's like, hey, you're gay. Which I can't tell if Harry is trying to, like, actually bond with him, but he doesn't know how to, because, like, he's just a meathead. And so he's like, hey, you're gay. Do you think this guy's hot? Like, he's, like, talking like a dude bro. And, like, Charlie runs away. And so I can't tell if Harry's, like, actually trying to bond with him or he's trying to bully him. Because he's kind of an idiot and a meathead. And that's how meatheads talk to each other. So I can't really tell. Because I think Harry does actually care about the way Nick perceives him. And he's always confused by the fact that Nick doesn't act like the other guy. Like, Nick doesn't hive think like the other guys. Nick's always challenging him, and Harry's always like, what? Like, it's like, does not compute. This is not how guys behave. So I can't tell. But either way, Charlie's like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And he leaves and calls his dad. And Nick tries to get him. He's like, no. These are your friends. I can't. I'm leaving. And then Ben follows. I can't understand Ben. Ben can't leave shit alone. He's like, what, you're dating Nick now? So Ben is, like, jealous out of nowhere after gaslighting Charlie. And then he gaslights him again in this scene.
I don't understand why Ben's still here.
I don't understand why he's here in this
because
scene.
They replaced Ben with Harry, basically, with, like, the bullying.
Yeah. Well, I think Ben is the closeted, internalized homophobia guy. I think he's important to have in there. Versus, I think Harry's just not smart. He's just the dumb jock that is popular.
Well, we forgot about Ben for so long.
But then he just shows up here. So it's very like, why is Ben here? Like, it's like kicking Charlie when he's at his lowest. And so, of course, Ben shows up, right? Because who could kick Charlie at his lowest? And he's always like, you're dating Nick. And then Charlie's like, nope, we're not, because they're not out. And then Ben immediately turns on the gaslight. He's like, of course not. Who would like you? Like, Ben, you need to learn how to flirt with people. Like, what is this? What was the end goal here for Ben? What was the end goal here? To gaslight Charlie into liking him again? I think that's what he was trying to do. Because he was trying to make Charlie feel worthless. And that's usually when he preys on Charlie. I feel like that's what he was doing.
To figure out something.
Yeah, but anyway, Charlie's dad shows up, and that ends that. But, whatever. So the big moral of this story is that Nick confronts his friends, mainly Harry, and Nick really has, like, an identity crisis. He's like, who the fuck am I? Like, when I'm around you guys, I don't like who I am, and I don't like how you guys are behaving, and nobody is pointing out the fact that what Harry's doing is not okay. He's like, you're making Charlie so uncomfortable he left. And then they end up getting into a fist fight because Harry starts, like, going after Charlie, and Nick can't stand that because he's a gentleman. And they get into a fight. Yep. And this, again, triggers stuff for Charlie. And Charlie's like, when he sees the black eye, he's like, fuck, now Nick's getting into fights because of me. He's not friends with his friends. I'm ruining his life. And Charlie just starts spiraling. To the point where he's like, I need to break up with Nick because I'm going to ruin his life.
But Tal mentions this, I think, in the next episode, but that Charlie feels like his very existence is a burden to everybody around him.
Yeah, and it's like, from his perspective, like, he can never seem to have a good thing. It just seems to always get ruined. You know? Mm-hmm. At least in the romantic realm. Friendship-wise, not so much. And then sibling-wise, not so much. We didn't mention Charlie's sister.
Oh, I love her.
I love her. I forget her name.
I don't know her name either.
I love her. She always has a drink in a straw.
She reminds me of a vampire.
She does. She's got those goth vibes with the long black hair.
She doesn't go out.
But...
Oh, we've seen her on a bus.
Yeah. She goes to school. So she gets on the bus with Charlie, and then she goes to the girls' school. Anyway, Charlie is like, I'm worthless, and I don't want Nick to be worthless. Let me break up with him. And so he tries to break up with Nick, and as he's doing that, Tao gets into a massive fight with Harry. And
so
then,
of course he does.
One of the funniest scenes I've ever seen ensues, in which Tao, gangly Tao, who can't run, tries to fight Harry, and he goes all feral on him by whacking him with his beanie. And it's one of the funniest moments in the show, because it just is. Go watch it. I fucking love it.
He throws apple juice on the Harry,
He does. He throws the apple juice on
And
Harry.
if you look at the bloopers, it gets in the actor's eyes, and he can't see, and he's just like, I can't open my eyes.
Aww. Oh my god, that fight was hilarious. But yeah, so Charlie doesn't get to break up with Nick. Tao gets into the fight, and that's kind of the end of that episode.
Her note is Tao going feral with the beanie, LOL.
It's so fucking funny. Alright, anything about Bully before we get to the finale?
No, I don't like that one as much.
Feels? Alright, let's move on. So, we get to the last episode, which is called Boyfriend. And I just want to shout out whoever wrote this episode, because this is how you end a season 1.
Don't clap in the mic.
Sapphic writers, please take note. This is how you end a season 1. On a hopeful note, not a devastating note. Okay, both are cliffhangers, but for different reasons. This is how you end a season 1. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Especially when you haven't been picked up for another one.
Exactly.
Watch, season 2 is going to end on such a bad cliffhanger.
I mean, it doesn't matter. They get the season 3.
But, like, because they can.
Also, they're books, so you can just go read the books and know what happened.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
I know. I might do it anyway. We'll find out. Okay, but it's...
You would do that.
It's sports day, whatever the fuck that is. So I guess
it's field day.
It's field day. It's basically field day, and for both schools, and we have to go to the boys' school because that's sexism, I guess. We're always going to the boys' school. What is that about? Writers? Is that how it works in England? I don't know. We don't have...
Because they're like, we can't...
Separated schools by gender.
We can't have a second location. We can make the school look like a different school.
I think that's really what it is. Like, this is the field. We only have the budget for one field. This is the field. So we're all going to the boys' school, to Trum, for sports day, which is field day. And all day, Charlie is just, like, avoiding his friends. Everybody. He avoids his friends and Nick, to the point where, like, Nick is super worried enough to go talk to Tao. Because he goes to find Charlie, and he goes and finds Tao by himself. Oh, Isaac was just like, fuck all this. And he was just gone. Isaac's like, I'm not doing any of this. He's not even there. And Nick's like, thought Charlie was gonna be here, but I guess I'll eat with you. And they kind of clear the air a little bit about Charlie, which is really good. And because at this point, Tao is still mad because Charlie didn't tell him about him and Nick. And so he's like icing Charlie out, basically. Mm-hmm. Isaac doesn't want to get involved, so he just like left.
And Isaac's being himself.
Yeah, and Nick is being iced out by Charlie, and he doesn't know that or know why. So Tao basically tells him. Charlie will never say this, but he often feels like he ruins, his existence is an inconvenience for other people, and it ruins other people's lives. And so he's trying to avoid you, basically. Let's see. Which, funnily enough, later in the episode, Charlie ends up talking to his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of, like, expresses this to her. Like, literally everything Tao just says. And his sister's like, he's almost like, I wish I wasn't here. It's almost like creeping onto, like, suicide ideation kind of talk. I don't think that's where he was going with it. And I think his sister freaks out. And she's like, you didn't make my life worse. I've been here with you the whole time. Like telling Charlie, like it can be really easy sometimes when you're, like, really sad about one thing falling apart to not see the other good stuff in your life. You know what I mean? It's definitely relatable. And so I'm glad his sister was there to be like, you have me. you have your friends. Like, it's not so hopeless. And she kind of, like, pulls him out of it a little bit. I really like that scene between the two of them.
It was really sweet.
It was very sweet.
And, like, she put down her glass.
Actually,
I think it was still in her hand, but...
She always has a drink and a straw. Always.
It's just... She was always, like, slightly picking on him as, like, a sibling, and...
Judgmentally drinking. She'd be like, who's that? Is that Nick? Like, shut up.
She's like, I'll make us pizza.
Yeah, she was gonna cook or order food.
Well,
I don't know.
She said make, so maybe just
unfrozen pizza. That was my assumption. But yeah, she was trying to, like, take care of him, and he was just like, not right now, but I like that scene between the two of them.
I want more for the sister.
I think she gets more based on panels I've seen from the book, like, out there on the internet.
I hope so.
Yeah. So I really like that scene between the two of them. And so that's kind of all in Charlie's head going into actual sports day stuff, which is the next day. I've jumped the gun there. So before we wrap stuff up we'll just wrap it all up with Nick and Charlie and just get through all the other characters really quickly. So Tao finally realizes he has a crush on Elle. Because they go through all of, like, they go to the art room, and Elle has, like, one of her paintings up there, which, hot damn, she is talented. And they're kind of, like, there together, and there's, like, staring.
And there's butterflies.
And Tao gets the butterflies.
Also, there's butterflies in the room. There's, like, artwork on the wall.
All the artwork in there is really cute. I'm not surprised. But yeah, so finally, slowest heterosexual slow burn I've ever seen is them. Because, like, Elle figured it out in episode 5, now finally Tao at the end. Love it.
So he didn't know?
No. Because, again, it makes sense for him, though, because he's so obsessed about protecting their friendship. He was never going to read anything into anything. So then finally they had a moment together where they were alone, and she was gonna tell him. She was like, I have something I want to tell you. And then, like, chickened out at the last moment, because she's like, fuck yeah, I can't. I don't want to ruin our dynamics, and just said something and left, and then he was like, wait. And, like, kind of put it together, and we got the butterflies. So.
Butterflies!
I'm excited to see them finally figure their shit out. They're so cute! And so, kudos to you, Heartstopper. We don't normally root for the heterosexual couples.
No.
So, here we are rooting for them. I know. I'm excited. Damn. You made me like the heterosexuals in this show. They're so cute, though. I love them. And I want more of Tao's mom. Yeah. With Elle. I think they're adorable. I love them together. Even the mom is like... I think the mom even figured it out, because when Elle came over in one of the other episodes with the cookies, she's like, keep the door open.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she said that, and Tao's like, sure, whatever. Like, he didn't get it. She's like, maybe keep the door open? Like, mom figured it out. It's like, damn it, Tao.
I want a scene with all the parents together.
Yeah, because you get them very much sprinkled in a little bit. Like, Charlie's mom, Charlie's dad have been sprinkled in there. Tao's mom, Nick's mom.
Has Charlie's mom been there?
The one up when Nick came over when he was wet in the rain, Charlie's mom.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the only time you see her.
Oh my god.
I know, you see
she got cast for that one scene.
Literally that one scene.
That's
the dad
insane.
was in 2 scenes. You see the sister more than you see. Like, it's more sibling based.
Are you sure it was only 2 scenes?
Yeah, the dad picked, well, maybe not 2. Maybe it was like 3 scenes. He's in the car always. He's just the one that picks up Charlie and drops him off.
He's the chauffeur.
He's the chauffeur, is what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then we haven't seen Elle's parents. Or Isaac's. So maybe we'll get them.
I want to see Darcy's.
Oh, God.
You
know her mom is like a hippie.
I feel like she might be a foster child.
You think?
I don't know.
She's too confident. She hasn't been beaten down by life.
I feel like she has to be strong, though.
Yeah, maybe.
And that she's just, like...
Watch her parents both be lawyers. Like, the straightest edged people of all time, and they have this just wild child.
Watch the actual book. Tell us.
Yeah, we have no idea. If you are avid graphic novel readers of Heartstopper, we're sorry.
Don't judge us.
Nope, we'll get there someday. I'll read them. All right. Anyway, so yeah, the slow burn with the straights. I'm here for them. Also, the lesbians were there, and they were super fucking cute with their like matching face paint.
And then they skipped with L.
They skipped with L, and they're holding hands, and they're just cute. So they were happy. So no lesbians were harmed in the finale.
I love them, but go to the next point.
All right.
I like that one
okay,
so much.
And then we get Isaac's javelin throw.
I love it.
If you want to explain this one, it's great.
He goes to throw it, and he's like just working it up, and he throws it, and it's so close. It's pretty far, but you see all the other ones, and they're so much further, but everyone's just cheering Isaac on. He's thrilled,
and I love that he put his book down long enough to do that.
Charlie's holding
it. But yeah, Isaac is so proud of himself with the javelin throw, and it did not go anywhere. And I love it.
Well, I feel like he was probably reading books on javelin throw, and that's his experience.
That's
it.
Didn't
even throw one.
No.
But he's like, all right, the trajectory.
Diagram.
All right, you hold it like this, and yeah. It went somewhere.
Yay! Hydrate for Isaac.
Okay. She only does this when she's thirsty.
No, that's a big moment. I love it. He was just so thrilled, and Charlie was thrilled for him, and it's just the cutest thing ever. I love Isaac. But field day or whatever comes to a conclusion with the rugby match because patriarchy. And so we gotta watch the rugby match. And so earlier that day, Charlie quit the rugby team because he was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. I can't. Mm-hmm. I need to be away from Nick. So because he's trying to just like isolate himself. And he's like, fuck this shit. So Nick gets on the field and starts doing his rugby thing and then scores a point. I don't know rugby. And he gets a touch. I guess they're called touchdowns. That's what's called American football. Maybe. That's what he does. And then he goes
he scores.
He gets a touchdown and then he has to do the kick for extra points. So he's about to do that, and then he finds Charlie in the crowd, and then is like, fuck rugby. And he leaves. they just kick the ball. Okay, and then the coach is like, this is why we can't play real games, because the players just keep leaving. And she's like, Nick, get back here. It's like, you're supposed to, and he just like knows. He leaves. He goes, because he's so like afraid of losing Charlie, and he's so distracted by it, that he's just like leaves the rugby game. Takes Charlie's hand and runs away, and they go like inside the school, and they pass Imogene while their hands are linked, and she smiles because good ally. And Nick immediately starts like word vomiting all of his feelings at Charlie because he's really worried. He's like, I don't want to break up. I don't want to lose you. And he's like, but like if you want to break up, I respect you and all this stuff. But he's like, you have to know that like you're the best person I ever met. And he's like telling him, he's like, you matter. My life is better because I met you. And Charlie's like, I believe you. He's like, well, I'm going to keep telling you until you actually believe me, because you don't seem to believe people when they tell you this. Because that's what Tao told him. And he's like, I need you to feel it and actually believe what I'm telling you, because I'm telling you the truth. And it's very cute. And then, my life is better because you're in it was like the line I wrote down, because it was very, very cute. He just full on gay panics. And Charlie's like, I believe you. And then they kiss in the middle of the corridor. And Nick's like, oh, are we? Whatever. Let's go on a date.
And then they go on a super cute date.
They go to the beach.
Let's go to the beach.
It's romantic.
Let's cook it away.
Yeah. So you want to tell us about the birds in the beach car?
No.
No? Okay. So they go to the beach, really?
I don't know what we're talking about.
Oh, when they go on the beach date, they get on the train.
Oh!
And what's in the train, Kaitlynn?
Birds.
The lovebirds.
Yes, I actually have another fact about this.
Yes, no, jump on in.
Okay, so Theora and I we kept arguing about the birds. I wanted to talk about the other birds, and Theora wanted to talk about the birds flying away. Really, the focus wasn't either of them. It was on the other person in the train. Because that was the writer of Heartstopper.
Oh, shit, for real?
Yeah.
Allison was in the show?
Yeah.
Damn it, we suck.
And she was drawing a picture of the two of them.
Stop it. Okay, I have to go back and watch this immediately when we're done recording. That's so cute! That's cute, because she was sitting under the lovebirds together.
Yeah.
This is cute. Oh my god. I love this show.
Sorry, I didn't know what you meant by the birds.
I need to know more behind the scenes. No, because like it's the exact same birds that we saw as the cartoon with the Imogene scene. It's the same birds. They're just painted on the train, and both together and flying away.
Actually,
so like, oh,
you see them flying away, but in the scene, with Imogene, they're in the background on the tree.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize.
Yeah, and it just exactly. Yeah, they full on go through the entire frame basically. The birds.
Yeah.
We're obsessed with the birds, and we're so sorry. I know you're not here for bird talk, but I found this little detail weird and then exciting when it was on the train.
Yeah. I have so many notes. I have to cross them off as I go. Sorry.
Do you have more about this? The beach part? We're just going to go into the beach stuff.
Yeah. Well, the beach includes the merry-go-round, right?
Yeah, go.
Okay,
yeah.
So the set decorator, Maxwell Fine.
Maxwell Fine?
Yeah, I know, it's just, I got distracted because of the nanny. Have you ever seen that show?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Max,
nanny
and then
Fran
Fine.
Oh, shit, you're right.
So that's why my brain just
sense.
went there. Okay. But he said the merry-go-round was filled with crew members, and then they were stuck on it until they got enough footage because they could once they committed to being on there, they couldn't leave because of continuity.
That's true.
So they're just going around and around and around.
That's really funny. So for those 3 seconds of cuteness, thank the crew members for making it possible. That's so funny.
Yeah, that 3 seconds that probably took at least an hour.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they sacrificed hours of their days and, like, maybe their nausea being on a merry-go-round. That's really funny. This whole date sequence is really cute. Because they're in a town that, you know, nobody knows them, so they can be themselves. And it's just sweet and very cute. Do you have anything until we get to the actual beach? Where we get the title of the episode? Okay. So then it culminates where they're at the beach, which, by the way, this looks like a stupidly uncomfortable beach because it's just rocks.
It's awful.
It's awful. I'm so
Who
sorry.
Who thought to lay there? Is that what all the beaches are like?
Maybe that's just the beach look. So beaches could look different. As somebody who just went to Hawaii, where it was like lava beaches, and it's like straight up lava that you need to wear shoes. So like this looked more comfortable than a lava beach. But, like, damn. It's just, like, straight up rocks. So, they're just laying on a towel together and talking. And Nick, I think, finally tells him I'm bisexual. And he's like, I think I'm ready to come out and all this stuff. And so he is just so happy that they're just being themselves and having this, like, beautiful day that he just screams to Poseidon. I like Charlie and Charlie likes me back. And Poseidon's like, yeah, the ocean's gay, man. I don't give a fuck. like, whatever, damn.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was such a weird and cute scene at the same time.
It was super cute. And then the part where he picks up Charlie and, like, carries him, and he's like, you're my boyfriend. It's just so fucking stupidly cute. And it's like, finally Charlie gets, like, the thing that he wants, which is, like, a boy who's not afraid to, like, be his boyfriend and say it. Mm-hmm. You know? So it's like, I just love that this episode really, like, it contrasts the first one, like, perfectly. Like, Charlie totally gets all the things he was like, I'll never get this. And he finally gets it. And Nick is, like, comfortable enough to be like, yeah. Like, I'm ready. Like, let's do it. And so it ends with them basically be like, oh, are we going to tell people now? And it's like, yeah. So they're going to tell people. It's season 2.
I'm very excited to see it.
I'm excited to see so many things in season 2. But before we get to season 2, we have to get to somebody else who matters. That Nick tells.
Okay, basically this is the only person that matters to Theora.
Yeah, so we get back to Olivia Colman. I love that she's in the show. She's such a beautiful actor. I just love her to death. And when they're talking together, Nick basically expresses what Tara wanted, where he's like, I don't really want to make a big announcement about it, but I want us to be able to tell the people that matter. Because before that they were like hiding around their friends, well, like Charlie's friends, by their friends. And so the next step is, like, parents, because, like, at this point, the friends all know. So Nick tells his mom. And I absolutely love this conversation that they have because, like, first of all, Olivia, if you had to come out to somebody, she's the person you'd want to come out to. Everybody should be able to come out to, and Olivia Colman is what I'm saying. And I know
you said to Olivia Colman.
No, you should come out to Olivia Colman. She's great. But I love that he tells his mom, he explains, like, I'm bisexual, like, Charlie is my boyfriend. I think he says that more than once. And his mom is genuinely really happy. And she says to him, I'm sorry if I ever made you feel like you couldn't tell me that. Because they had many conversations where she's like, you'll find the right girl, and, like, all this stuff. And, like, he never said anything. Because he tells her in this conversation, we've been together for a while, and, like, I've liked him way before that. And, like, she understands that he didn't tell me. And so she's like, I'm sorry you felt like you couldn't tell me before. I'm glad you did. And she also says something else that I think is really important, where she's like, you don't have to say you like girls if you don't like them. You know, because, like, that's a comment. I feel like that's what's expected of men in particular. And so she's like, you don't have to say that to make me happy or, like, to perform. Like, if you're gay, that's fine. And he's like, no, I do. I like girls and guys. Like, you know what bisexuality is. And she's like, I'm not from the 18th century, is what she says. It's like so fucking funny. But she just handles it beautifully and hugs him. And I just love all those things that she says from, like, a parent's perspective, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry you maybe felt like you couldn't tell me sooner, and, like, you don't have to, like, perform for me, basically. Like, it's okay to just be you.
It's a good guideline for parents watching.
Yeah, exactly. And for parents and or people that have people in their life that come out to them as bisexual, because that is a thing.
Yes.
Right? So I don't get it. I don't get it. We don't get it.
That people don't think that bisexual is a thing.
Yes, yeah. That people don't understand bisexuality. Yeah, not that we understand bisexuality exists. That's not mysterious. People's reaction to it is I don't get it, but I liked her dialogue. I thought it was really important for having a son come out to you as bisexual, because, like, I feel like that is something we don't get a lot of exposure with. And again, representation matters. There have to be bisexual men out there, and give them a good role model like Nick, and give those parents of bisexual men a good role model like Olivia Colman in the show. Like, I found this storyline so important because it's often so missed. I mean, we are definitely biased in the type of media we consume, but I feel like we much more often are likely to encounter a bisexual female presenting character versus a male presenting character. So having this storyline to me is so stupidly important, and to have it be so positive is so important. Like, I don't know. I just this show meant a lot to me because I thought it was just so needed, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like a society that we live in is more accepting of, like, female presenting people that are bisexual or fluid, versus men are still, like, put back in those, like, no, you have to be this one thing. Because, like, again, we live in a patriarchy that's much more solidified for men. So I loved Nick's storyline a lot, and how it was handled, and his mom, and all of that stuff. I thought it was so friggin' important.
It was a great scene.
Oh, it was such a beautiful scene.
And like you told me, Olivia Colman messed up her lines because she got
so emotional from Kit. Kit is such a beautiful actor, first of all. Holy shit. He blew away Oscar winner Olivia Colman and made her fuck up her lines because he was so good in that scene.
She told him, I got overwhelmed with your little face.
Yeah.
It's in the blooper reel. So when you see it, you'll get to see it.
Cute. Yeah, he nailed that scene. Like, it just, all of his scenes. The scene with Charlie, too, in the corridor where he's, like, freaking out.
They're really good.
He's such a good actor. Holy shit. They're both fantastic, but, like, the emotions that waft off this actor are just phenomenal.
Yes.
I can't believe it.
Anything else?
That is the finale. You got anything, Kaitlynn?
I do have some stuff.
We got some stuff from Kaitlynn.
Let's just see what I haven't. Okay, so my first thing is about your love.
Olivia Colman?
Yep. So Theora's big thing was that she can't believe they got Olivia Colman, and that their budget must have gone all to Olivia Colman. Olivia Colman filmed all her scenes in 2 days.
I'm not surprised. It's Olivia Colman.
Imogene and Isaac are original for the show. They're not in the books.
No way! Oh, that's fucking awesome! Yeah.
Isaac replaced somebody because they didn't feel like they could give that character enough stuff, I guess.
Okay. So he, transformed from one character in the books into a brand new character, basically.
Yes.
Got it. I love Isaac. That's crazy. Yeah. I love that. And I love Imogene.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I love that. Oh, okay. So I'm not in the book fandom, but I remember when the season 2+3 announcement happened, Allison got on social media and basically was saying that, hinting that she was going to do more, Ace Arrow type stuff, and I guess talking about Isaac is what she meant. I thought he was in the book, so that's really interesting that she's like, yep, that's where this character is going. We're going to explore that. That's so great. Oh, man, I love that. Go, Allison.
Nick's house has stained glass on the outside.
Nick's house?
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
So.
Or Charlie's house, because Charlie's house has a bunch of stained glass in it.
I don't know. I thought it said Nick.
Okay. No, I don't know. I don't remember seeing Nick's house. We're just, inside of it.
I don't know.
I think it's Charlie's. Charlie's has straight up stained glass.
I thought they said Nick.
That's fine. Okay.
I don't know.
Somebody's.
Okay, so whatever room, they had to figure out how to... Because when you're inside... So...
Oh, maybe it was Nick's house. Sorry.
They had to put gels on the light to make it tinted a different color.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean by gels?
No, but I understand why they did that.
Yeah.
To, make it more one color versus, multiple colors of the lights. Is that what you mean?
Instead of, a light like this, they'll put blue gel on it to make it look blue.
Yeah.
So, blue gel is basically... It's not paper, but this, plastic-looking thing.
Okay.
That won't burn with the light, because these lights are really freaking hot.
I believe it.
And so they can just, I forget how they put it on there. But, yeah, you can just put it on there, and then it makes it a color.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that if you're on locations with stained glass.
A lot of directors and cinematographers stay away from a lot of colors because they're worried that it will distract the audience.
Yeah, sure.
But this one loved the colors and wanted to play with it as much as possible.
There's a lot of light playing in this
yes.
freaking show.
For the coloring, they used LUTs for the footage. So basically they film in RAW, so everything is very, not dried out, what is it?
Washed?
Yeah, washed out.
Okay. And,
very... Flat. It's a flat image.
I was going to say, what is the opposite of contrast? Flat.
So a LUT is a lookup table, and it's basically a template color grade, so you put it on it, and then it's what the camera sees. Cool. So there's LUTs for specific cameras, but Heartstopper's LUT put turquoise in the shadows.
Oh, interesting.
And it was also one stop darker, so... I don't know how to explain a stop. It just makes the image darker than what it actually is.
Okay.
Oh, so, and then once you have the base grade on it, because that's basically the base that they go with, then they'll play around with the colors and the contrast. So they'll put more light in the shadows.
Yeah.
And the LUT also warms people's skin tones.
So they were already playing with the colors before shooting it, basically.
I don't know if they did it before. You can put a LUT in the screen, the monitor. That's you can view the footage on it.
Okay.
But you won't see it in the camera.
I see.
It'll be flat when you're looking.
Okay. I gotcha.
In the camera.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I think that's probably why the blue seems saturated.
Yeah.
I think they did really up that because, I think the cinematographer was worried that it was overboard, but, she said it ended up looking alright. And now, this is just random, but Tao's blanket has leaves on it. Should have mentioned that when I said the stars and the hearts on the phone cases.
No, it's okay. Here we are. Now we know where the leaves came from, because the leaves show up, first.
Yeah.
It's like the first animation. We're like, what the fuck? Why are there fucking leaves here? This is so random. Tao's blanket. It's Tao's fault.
The tree on the Truum school uniforms, they bloom throughout the whole show. On the, like, the, you know.
No
like,
way!
Yeah, the trees, like...
Oh, that's cool.
And it's, like, to...
Passage of time kind of thing?
Yeah, the change of seasons and the romance blossoms.
That's so cool. I thought I saw that and thought I was going crazy. I'm like, does that seem more like a tree than normal on the uniform? That's so cool. Man, there's so many little fun... They really did put a lot of detail into this show. Like, personal detail.
Go check out, like, if you just look up behind the scenes and, like, BuzzFeed, they do have an article. I'm not saying all of it. We're
cherry picking.
Yeah. I recommend it because they do pick out, like, very obscure things.
That's super cool. I love shows that do stuff like that.
And then the article that I've been getting from the cinematographer, they gave me the camera and the lenses that they used. So they use an Alexa Mini LF, which is an RE camera, which is... One of them was like $98,000.
Oh my god.
It's actually not that bad.
Oh man, that makes it worse.
I feel like there's definitely way more expensive. Well, see, it's not just the camera either, it's the lenses.
Oh yeah.
So they use Canon K35 lenses, and those are Cine lenses. They're prime lenses, so which means you have prime and zoom, and prime means it's a fixed focal length. So, say this length, we can get closer and further, but the camera can get closer and further, but you have to physically move it.
Correct, yeah.
Whereas zoom is you can just stay here and then
adjust
move the lens. But the benefit of prime lenses is that you can have a lower aperture, which means you can film in lower light settings better without having to up the ISO, which the higher ISO it is, the more grainy the image is. So if you ever see an image that has like a bunch of noise in the image, like those like little floaty, I can't really explain it.
It's like little light floaties. Is it like when you try to take a picture of the moon with your camera? Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is crap.
Yes.
That's why. Yeah, your phone cannot ISO that to see the moon.
Yeah, your phone is like maxing out.
Yeah.
And okay. Well, I won't get into too much of a lesson because then you have the whole triangle, exposure triangle thing. But we'll get in. We don't have to do it. But the camera is on the Netflix approved list. Netflix.
Interesting.
You have to use an approved Netflix camera if you want your show to be an original.
Interesting. They must have contracts, I assume.
I think shows are produced before Netflix even becomes original sometimes.
Interesting.
At one point, I don't think documentaries had to fight. I was in a distribution class, so we were looking into everybody's requirements and trying to see if we could get my film on there, actually.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing all of that, Kaitlynn.
Yeah.
There's just so much on this show. We've scratched the surface.
I could go into more, but
we won't. We won't. Unless you're on
Patreon. A lot more
Patreon.
technical stuff.
Unless you're on Patreon, you'll see much more content.
Yes, a lot more.
All right. So before we hop on over to Patreon to watch the season 2 trailer
off soon. So let's. Oh, we still have to do the hydration.
We're gonna hydrate. All right. So Kaitlynn, on the high hydration scale, because these bitches say hi and bye so many times, how much would you hydrate for Heartstopper for all the G's I?
8.
I'm giving it a 10.
I know you do, Will.
Honestly, I love this show. It's the queerest show I've seen in a very long time that is not... Like, it doesn't do stereotypes, honestly. It feels very real, all the characters and their journeys, and I enjoy the way they tell it.
It's really good. I don't know why I give it an 8, but it's
an
what
8's
I
high
feel
for
in
you.
I'm a low rater.
That's really high. Yeah, exactly.
If this isn't like my favorite thing ever, it's pretty low.
Kaitlynn, I know why. It's because Nellie's not in every episode.
I love Nellie.
Yeah. You'd give it a 10 if Nellie was in every episode.
Oh my god. If Nellie had like a whole storyline.
Actually, go. I have a Nellie tidbit for you.
What?
Okay, forgot to mention this. When they're on their beach date and they go to those cutouts to put their faces through and take pictures, the dog is Nellie from the graphic novel. Yeah. And then Nick puts his face in Nellie's body.
Aww.
And Charlie, I think, was the cat. Yeah, that's Nellie from the graphic novels. I know. Do you get a 9 now? I'm just kidding.
No.
No. 8 and a 9. All right, so check out Heartstopper if you haven't already.
There should have been a bird cut out. And Nellie should have put her face.
They should have brought Nellie. Maybe you couldn't bring her to the beach. But anyway, if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. We spoiled the shit out of it for you. Season 2 was probably already out when you're watching this. We will be covering that next. And we're going to hop on over to Patreon right now and watch the trailer and react to it. We haven't seen it yet. So if you want to watch that, head on over to Patreon. If not, hydrate for lesbian Jesus.
And gay it up all over the place.
Bye.
Bye.
And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube. Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing, super gay content.
If you'd like to support us, check out our merch store, or join our Patreon for early access to episodes, exclusive content, and so much more.
Until next time, stay safe and hydrate for lesbian Jesus.